To me, it's just a tool. Why wouldn't the universe give us tools and guides and maps? What if the stars and the planets are some sort of handbook? If we believe that God created everything, I'm simply using the tools that God created and making meaning from them.
Welcome to The Mindful Agent, where real estate success meets health, mindfulness, and personal growth. Join me, Michael Coxen, top-performing agent and broker-owner of Magenta Real Estate, as I explore the intersection of wellness and business excellence, helping you thrive in both real estate and life. Today's episode is all about your space and how the way you live and work directly impacts the flow of energy in your life and your business. My guest is Kate Swick, a Feng Shui consultant, astrologer, and tarot reader who helps individuals and global brands align energy, mindset, and strategy for greater clarity and abundance. We could all use that. She also co-hosts the Mom and Me Astrology podcast, where she shares wisdom passed down from her family of astrologers. This is generational wisdom here. In our conversation, Kate and I explore how the home is the biggest vision board you'll ever create, how small intentional shifts in your environment can unlock opportunities, and how astrology and feng shui can support entrepreneurs and real estate professionals during times of change. If you've ever felt stuck in your business, in your finances, or even in your mindset, Kate's insights will give you practical ways to clear space, embrace change, and create more flow in your life.
Yeah.
Kate Swick, welcome to The Mindful Agent.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and thank you for being here.
Yeah.
You are a wonderful guest to have on this show. I've been excited to talk to somebody with your background. You're a feng shui practitioner,
Yes.
astrologer, tarot card reader, and I'm assuming all around intuitive person.
Yes.
It's
a mouthful.
Right? It is a lot of different titles, but as we were kind of just discussing offline, these things blend together and it's a lifestyle. I imagine you live being very mindful of your space, mental and physical.
Yes.
And I want to hear some tips. Tell me how you got into this whole world.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, it's going to start the day that I was born.
Important for astrology.
Very, very important. And my parents are both astrologers. And my dad left my mom at the hospital here in Las Vegas, Women's Hospital, ran home and charted my astrology chart, came back to the hospital and said, "We have an astrologer on our hands." Now,
very cool.
Yes. So that was back though, 1985. And to get a good education, my parents enrolled me in Catholic school. So very different than what I was learning at home. And I always thought astrology, that's my parents' thing. Feng Shui, that's my mom's thing. My mom introduced us to Feng Shui in 1995, which I gravitated more to that because I don't want to say it's a lot easier, but anyone that's started to get into astrology, you think, oh, I just need to learn the 12 signs. And then you realize, oh, I need to learn the 12 houses. And I need to learn all the planets. And I need to learn their aspects to one another. And I have to learn geometry.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot into it. So the Feng Shui I picked up on much quicker. But so it was something I always practiced in the background. But a lot of people actually didn't know that about me. Because when I was 33, the Jesus year, I had an epiphany on a plane. I was on my way to Vietnam. I had an epiphany on the plane. Like, when I get home, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit my corporate job. I was a spa director here in the hotels. And I thought, I just knew it. It was over. But at the same time, I thought, how am I going to tell my parents? Because even though they're very, I'll say, liberal in their thinking, they're very conservative with money and have a job and create security for yourself. And by the time I got off the plane, my mom had texted me, "Have you had any breakthroughs about work?" And I thought, oh, there's no way I can tell her on this trip, that I was afforded, but I was able to do that because of my corporate world. So I had some tequila and I sent over a text message and said, when I get home, I'm going to quit. And she said, "We fully support you." And so that was 8 years ago.
Was that 33? You mentioned the Jesus year, the year Jesus died at age 33.
Yeah.
But was that an important year in your particular astrology chart?
I think 33 is an important year for everyone. I say what you do at 33 probably ties into your legacy, what you're going to leave behind. In my particular chart at that time, I was having a lunar eclipse, in my 6th house of work, which is what sparked the text message from my mom.
Mm.
Have you had any breakthroughs about
So
work?
she was expecting that. She
She
knew
was
to
like,
ask the
yes.
question, being an astrologer herself.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily that she predicted that I was going to
Yeah.
quit, but that there should have been some sort of shift in my mindset around how I was working.
And right now, the whole audience is thinking, where was I at age
Oh,
33?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 33 and even 13. If you have children or nieces, nephews, whatever they say they're going to do at 13, it usually holds a lot of weight
Hmm.
to it.
Make note.
Yes.
That's good advice already. I mean, this is the beauty of what you do.
Right.
These are things to think about. And for Feng Shui, I mean, a lot of us are familiar with astrology. I think, with the basics, you mentioned the 12 signs, right?
Yes.
Everyone kind of knows if they're a Gemini or
Mhm.
Aquarius. Give us a simplistic breakdown of what Feng Shui is for those who may not know.
Absolutely. It's the placement of things in the home to live a life that's in better balance and has more flow. Many times when I tell people I'm a feng shui consult, they'll say, "Oh, yeah, yeah, you have to have a red door." Or, "Oh, your bed has to face a certain direction." And absolutely, those things are true. But I like to break it down even more simplistic. And if you've ever created a vision board, I say the walls of your home is the biggest vision board you'll ever work on.
I never thought of it that
And
way.
when you start thinking of your home as a vision board, oh my gosh, you might start looking at your artwork, the way that you treat your home, the way that you style it in a totally different way.
Yeah.
And going back to the vision board, many times we create a vision board in the beginning of the year, and by the end of the year, we check off what we did, we throw it away, we
Yeah.
start new.
I think you're being generous. I think a lot of people create the vision board and then throw it in a closet and
Oh,
never look at it
okay,
ever again.
okay. That too.
Yeah.
That
So
too.
the vision boards are important
They're
in life.
important.
I mean, I think I know a lot of real estate agents who do vision boards. I'm guilty of one myself, and it is unfortunately put away right now. But I mean, I've achieved many things on it. I will
Yes.
say,
Yeah.
it's usually out when I'm working as a reminder
Oh,
of things. And then I love that analogy of thinking the house is a vision board. Um, that's very true. As I look around what I have on display in my own office, I
yeah.
think that holds true for me at least.
Oh, yeah, because what you see, you're creating,
Yeah.
or what you're putting on your walls, you're asking the universe for more of. We're taught that at such a young age. Think of like a child running home from school with a piece of artwork. Mommy, mommy, daddy, put it on the fridge, hang it up. We're taught at a young age that what we hang on the wall or the fridge, we consider important. We value it. So there's no difference between that and putting a picture of a sad woman on your wall. Someone that's, she's tearful, or and we think, "Well, why are we honoring that? How are we creating more of that in our life by displaying it on the wall?"
Hmm.
And I'm just picking on that one example. I've
Yeah.
seen all sorts of crazy artwork in
Well, I'm gonna
homes.
get selfish here, and if you're watching on YouTube, you see when you look at this picture here, that's obviously a centerpiece of my office
Oh,
and even
yeah.
my home. What does
Yeah.
it mean to you?
W
Break me down.
of
And if you're
course, yeah.
listening, tune into YouTube. Make sure to subscribe there.
Yeah, well, we're in the front quadrant of your home, so we're in the water area. So I do love the water. It's calm water. There's movement. There's flow. I teach a lot of people to put a water element by the front door, whether it's a fountain or a piece of artwork. And it's fascinating the different pieces of water, different ways it can be portrayed, how it can represent what's going on in someone's life. So there's this famous picture, and I don't know the artist, but it's a lighthouse, and you can see
Mm.
the little man on the top of the lighthouse, and the water is encompassing all around him. I mean, it's like a breathtaking photo. But to think, put that in your home, like you're drowning.
Yeah,
You're so little in comparison to everything
it's
else.
ominous and frightening.
Exactly. Where this is very calm. You know.
The reason behind it, calm, and then also with the movement of the dam. And it's actually from my hometown. That's
Oh,
the Croton
wonderful.
Reservoir. Shout out Croton on
Okay,
Hudson, New York.
perfect. Yeah.
And yeah, I love the hills and everything it symbolized to the power of a dam, but
Yeah.
the calmness of it too.
See.
Trying to be powerful while calm on the outside, no
Yeah.
matter what's going on in the inside. So yeah, I want to go back to that pivotal moment for you.
hmm
Uh, 33,
Yeah.
you realize it should be your business. So a lot of entrepreneurs and realtors out there are part time. How do you know your pivotal moment to take a leap, whether in career or love or life
hmm
or moving? If you're somebody considering a big move, how do we know?
The astrology helps a lot,
Sure.
looking at the chart. But Astrology matters to be able to kind of anticipate the change, but I think many times we have a gut feeling we know it's time. I know for me, when I know it's time, like there's something in me that I know I can't even move. I can't move forward unless I change.
A lot of people can't listen to that,
Hmm.
struggle to listen to it.
Yeah. And that's where the astrology comes in. Like I walk a lot of people through change, and sometimes knowing ahead of time, like the idea that this is coming, it can start mentally preparing someone. The idea of pay attention when someone starts shifting a lot of things around in their home or their office. Oh, there's probably change coming. It's interesting, especially when I do consults in corporate offices when there's like many different, I would say cubbies, but different offices.
Mhm.
And there's someone's office that looks a little bit more plain. And I might say, oh, did this employee just get here or are they on their way out? Sometimes the management doesn't even know. And then they'll call me a couple weeks later. That person put their notice in. How did you know? Well, because their environment started making a big change.
Mm.
So sometimes we might not even be onto it ourselves, but you're saying, "Oh, I need to clean out the closet. I'm just in a mood. I want to throw things away." It's preparing you
Yeah.
for a larger shift that's about to happen.
Wow. I see it in our own lives for sure.
Yeah.
My wife loves her happy place is organized in the closet. I think it's a real cleansing thing.
Yes.
So what is like the biggest difference you notice between applying feng shui at home,
Mhm.
like a closet or any other practices versus the office?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is a lot of overlap, but I understand in the office, there is maybe sometimes we can't be as personal in the office. We need to be a little bit more corporate, or,
Mhm.
I tell people like we don't want a lot of personal pictures in the office. Like we do want to have some sort of presence. I think you spoke about it on one of your podcasts before about like, what does your emails look like? Like, how are you dressing when you show up? The office is the same way.
Mhm.
If you walk into someone's office and there's clutter on the desk
Or if
or
there's too many family
there's too many
photos,
family
maybe it
photos.
gives a signal that I don't really want to be here.
Yeah, or
And
that's their priority, that they might
yeah,
not pick up your call in an emergency
which
because
it should be though, right?
I
Like,
know.
shouldn't my family be my priority?
It should be,
You are
absolutely.
family over work.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
you're saying just the display of it could be considered too much, and maybe you get passed up for a promotion or something like that, or a lead or a sale. If
Yeah.
you're like, they're not as serious as that person who
Mhm.
has one or two family photos in a neat frame and a neat
Correct.
desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you make a good point there. It's like it's not just one photo that we're talking about. Even in feng shui, I'll say things like, "Oh, animal print isn't good," and then someone will say, "Oh no, I have an animal print pillow on my couch." Okay, well, you live in a 3,000 square foot house, and we're talking about one pillow. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about we have the rug and we have the bedspread and the shower curtains, and then we put ourselves in a robe that all have the same thing. So same with
Okay.
like the family prints as well. If it's like one or two, that's not what we're talking about.
Okay.
We're talking about an overabundance
And
of
is that a
something.
real example? Animal print is not a good
Yeah.
thing for feng shui, and why is that?
Well, it's a predatory. It's predatory. So, um, I have some cute stories with like themes of animals in the home.
Hmm.
Of,
Share.
like I had one client who had just gotten a new dog actually, and there's little doggy toys around the house, no big deal. But at some point, I started realizing like, oh, I think these are all monkeys, right? The little monkeys.
Huh.
And, I just said, like, what kind of monkey business is going so literal is
Uh huh.
going around?
Uh huh.
Well, she knew exactly what I was talking about. And many times
Oh,
the client doesn't even need to tell me. They have their own epiphany, their own aha moment, and then they can correct it,
yeah.
if you will.
Yeah.
They realize, oh, that's a problem. Yeah, let me get rid of some of these.
Yeah.
Again, it wasn't just one or two toys. I think it was 10 plus
Yes.
toys.
Yeah, Kate mentioned a puppy because I think she just met our puppy,
Yes, yes.
and Brooke is an amateur feng shui tech practitioner, does
Yeah,
it for our home and from
absolutely.
close friends in the office and things. But the whole idea, our dog is now in a crate and pen. It's we can feel it. It's not supposed to be there. We don't love what it symbolizes
Correct.
and all those things. And we definitely have a plan to, it is what you're supposed to do, crate and pen for training. But
Absolutely.
there's a exit plan that we're working our way towards, and it's the center of our home.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, like everything's been a little off since we got the puppy, and it's not just puppy energy. I think it's like the toys and the crates and
Mhm.
the cage and the foods, and you get that. I can just feel it, and it takes a lot of time. And if you're somebody out there who's like, oh, I don't know what they're talking about, but like you all know that feeling of being stuck, for one example,
Yeah.
or that gut feeling it's time for a change,
Mhm.
help us like tap into listening and acting on those feelings, the monkeys, or, you
Oh,
said
yeah.
we know this subconsciously. How do we
Sure.
act on it?
Sure. Well, like in regards to just change in general, a lot of people are resistant to change. And so, especially when we're talking from like a feng shui standpoint, because we have all sorts of reasons that we hold on to things. Money. Oh, my mom gave that to me. Oh, my grandmother that passed away. That's all I have left from her. We have all these reasons why we hold on to things. And I say, just pack it up and put it in the garage. Just get it out of sight. You don't have to throw it away. I'm
Mhm.
not saying take it down to the
Yeah.
Goodwill or something. Just get rid of it and see how your life changes.
Mm.
So that's from like
It's
kind of
very
like
practical.
when I'm in people's homes because no, I'm not about waste. And if I can repurpose it in some way in your home, absolutely. I'm not the goal isn't to have you go out and buy a bunch of cookie cutter things that everyone has in their home because I
Mhm.
want the homes to show their personality. So that would be one piece of it. Again, when we talk about like the gut of like changing, I do think it can start with the home. We talked about like if you start cleaning out your closet or if you feel stuck, um, when you have like a heavy piece of furniture that's been on the carpet for a while
Yeah.
and it is going to take a good like oomph to get it out of
Yeah. The groove
the
it's in.
groove. Yes, yes. But once you get it out of that groove, oh, then it's almost smooth sailing pushing the piece of furniture.
Yeah.
So if you're stuck,
Mm.
simply go to a large piece of furniture in your home and move it 1 inch, 2 inches. So simplistic,
Yeah.
setting that intention of getting yourself unstuck.
Yeah. You kind of got into like my next question
Okay,
where I was
okay,
going
okay,
perfectly though,
okay.
because like a lot of realtors and entrepreneurs, we work from home
Yes.
and business might be slow. Sales are currently down in the Valley of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, go move your desk one
Yes.
inch,
Yeah.
maybe change the direction of your chair.
Yes.
And I've talked to several people. We had an architect, Jared LeBeau, on an earlier
I listened to
episode.
that episode.
And yeah, he started doing that as a child. He would rearrange his room often.
Yeah.
So definitely some people have it in their intuition and who they are born, as we'll
Yeah.
probably get into with astrology to do those things. But if you're not that person, hear what Kate's saying, just a small change.
Just intentionally do it. And that's the thing is you don't have to know all these feng shui principles in order to do some of these things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jared had some great points like the lighting in the home and the garden, but these are things that go around and clean the windows of your home and set the intention that I can see the solution clearly,
Yeah.
right?
Another good one. It's
You
funny
know?
you're touching on some sore points here. My windows
Okay.
need to be cleaned.
Okay.
And it was funny the other day. I'm like, why do I clean my windows so often? Like, who cares? I'm like, do I have an event coming over? People coming over? And I was thinking, why do I even do this? And then I was like, I just have to. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but I think, yeah, it's like seeing clearly. There's a
Mhm.
symbol there
Yeah.
for like clarity of mind.
Exactly.
And I do really think it affects how I work, how I feel, how I sleep,
Oh,
having
yeah.
clean windows.
Yeah. I totally agree. And especially for someone that doesn't love cleaning,
Hmm.
like maybe putting intention behind it can get someone
Mm,
more motivated, especially if you are from home, working from home and the phone's not ringing. Maybe you're spiraling a little bit, doing the math. How much am I making this month? Am I going to be good?
mhm.
Is this just a trend or is this, am I going to bounce out of it? Use that time to, sweep the floors and put in an intention about, I have a strong foundation. So simple
I
because you
love
have
that.
to clean the floors
Yeah.
most likely if you don't have maybe some help
Mhm.
but it's a task that we would already be doing but now you're giving it a stronger intention.
Yeah. I'm doing this to create a foundation for me and my business. I
Correct.
love that. We talk a lot on this podcast about focusing on process,
Hmm.
not outcome.
Oh yeah.
And that's something like part of my process could be to have a very clean home and office before I get to work. Because there is something about the energy of making your bed in
Oh
the morning,
yes.
sets the tone for your day, and all
Yeah.
those things. Start those habits. These are very small
Hmm.
habits that compound.
They are.
And the only catch is you don't be that business person that cleans their office all day and then works for 20 minutes and calls it a day. But just setting the intention, spending that time, whether it's 10 minutes, clearing your space, is a huge tip for anyone out there that I think it's a feng shui tip that you don't even know is a feng shui tip. I
Exactly.
think whether you believe in it or not, it exists.
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
you're practicing it or you're not, whether you know it.
Yeah.
So, like these little rituals, so important.
Oh yeah, or if you don't have the opportunity, the front door is the mouth of the home. It's where everything enters. the packages, the groceries, people coming over to your home,
Hmm.
and just intentionally wiping down the front door, sweeping the mat, saying opportunities are flowing to me with ease.
Yeah.
Again, so simple, doesn't cost any money,
Yeah.
but what is the mindset around the home?
Yep.
Or are there obstacles to get to the front door? And it's probably reflective of what you're seeing, either in your business or with just opportunities in life. Do we have to step over a hose? Does the door handle, you have to kind of wiggle it a couple of times before you can get it open? Is it, these can be very, even just things like you need a handyman to
Hmm.
fix in the home that are constant struggles.
Yeah. One thing I know is almost a dripping faucet,
Hmm.
water leaving,
Yeah.
not good for money, right?
Not good for money. And many times there's something emotional happening in the home when there's a lot of leaks going on, because I say uh, the home is crying, the home is purging
Yeah.
emotion. Yeah, but very valid as well though for the money.
So, I mean, as real estate agents, we often deal with the ups and downs of the market. How can we use? You've given a few tips.
Hmm.
How can we use energy practices for, I think, consistency in business? If you're in a seasonal business,
Oh yeah. Well, I think a lot of those things that we talked about, like setting the intentions of creating business. I know, like, even with my business, like if I'm slow a certain week, I'll go in the back center of the home, which is like the fame and reputation area, and I'll you have my little wind chimes in the back and create some noise there. Uh, Prune some of the trees that I have back there. That idea of energetically clearing it.
mm,
So very just simplistic things, but the front door would be a great place to start just for
okay,
consistency to create
good to know.
that opportunity coming in.
All right, let me add that to my to-do list,
Yeah.
windows and door while we're at it.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned door, and a lot of people come and go from their garage, right?
Yes,
Nowadays. And
yes.
I try to keep a neat garage.
Mhm.
Maybe growing up because it wasn't. I'm
Yeah.
like, I want to, this is a big space.
Yeah,
A lot of people use their garage for storage and just like throwing stuff in there to collect dust.
I know.
Um, but knowing that's basically the front door for many people, I mean, that's important to keep it clean and tidy and treat it like a part of the home, right? Or is that
Correct.
not part of the home in the feng shui world?
We have to adjust. People hundreds of years ago might have been like, what are they
Didn't have a
doing?"
garage. Yeah.
Exactly, but I do think we have to keep it current. What does that look like now? And many people do use the garage. I use the garage door as well, but I say, 1, assign a task to the front door, whether that's every time you walk the puppy, we're going out the front door, or every time I check the mail, I'm going through the front door, that there's some sort of a specific task that forces you to go to the front door.
I do that.
Perfect. And then to treat the garage door just like the front door. Paint it red, which a lot of HOAs, you can't paint your front door red. So great, paint your garage door red. They can't see that. Right.
So that is a thing.
That is a thing. Absolutely. So paint the garage door red, not the door from the garage into the home
Yeah.
red, not your
Yeah.
actual big garage door. Put a floor mat there, like a welcome mat coming into the home. And you can do the water reference as well by that area to just kind of recreate that front door in a different area of the home.
Yeah. So there's a lot of symbolism because you can't always, like, as you alluded to earlier, have water, but you can have
No,
symbols for water.
correct.
Yeah. It is a complex process. So, I mean, I guess walk us through your process. If someone were to have you into their home is feng shui a verb? Feng shui your house.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tell me, just give you the basic overview of your process.
Sure. So I'll show up to the home. I just start with a tour. Show me your home. Many times it's always interesting to see what people offer up
Hmm.
about it, right? I don't ask, just
I do
walk
the
me
same
through.
thing as a real estate agent. I show
Yeah.
up, people are like, what do you want to do? And I go, show me around. And
Yep.
I never say, where do you want to start? I go, anywhere you want to show
Yeah.
me.
So they'll offer up a lot of
Mm.
information, and then I'll ask, what's been a theme since you've moved into the home? Has there been a consistent theme since you've lived here? So many times I'll ask, how long have you lived here? So if they say, like, I've lived here 3 years and I've changed job 3 times since being in this home, okay, that's a good indicator for me. Or they might say that they have a lot of opportunities, but they're not able to close on them. So again, just whatever they offer up there. And then once we finish the tour, kind of the area that stuck out to me the most, where I think the problem is, I'll say, well, let's start here.
Mm.
Okay, this is the financial area or whatever it is. And they'll say, oh, okay. They kind of already know. And many times they'll say, are you a psychic? How did you know? I say, the home is just talking to me.
Intuitive.
Intuitive. But the houses do talk. Just like our clothes talk,
Mm.
just like our smile. talks without the home is constantly talking.
Yeah.
So we start there. We start with what that area addresses, the meaning that I'm pulling from it based on the artwork or how the area is being treated. But it's never in a like a pointed way, like, oh, you're doing this. I might say, what happened when you put this piece of artwork up? Because these are the conclusions that I would draw. Do you feel like you felt that? And sometimes people, oh my god, they're ripping the piece of artwork off the wall while I'm standing there, and other people, they might have to think about it a little bit because astrology and feng shui, there's a lot of self-awareness that goes into it.
From the client standpoint.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
To be able to recognize that because I don't know your story. I don't know what happened when you put that piece of artwork up 5, 7 years ago.
Yeah, you're like giving hints for somebody to
Mhm.
solve their own mystery. You're not gonna be able to solve it for them.
Correct. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I think
Yeah.
what I think happened.
Yeah.
So we'll go through each of the corners of the home, address the artwork, address anything that is broken. Sometimes too I ask, like, where do you cuss in the home?
Hmm.
That gives me a great indicator of where some of
Everywhere.
the issues. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, but remove those things.
Mm.
It's funny, like how as humans, if you've ever done this where like you pull out a pen to use and the pen doesn't work. So
Put it back in the drawer.
we throw it back in the drawer.
No, I don't do that.
Or women with like the elastic bands. Like, I hate the way this elastic band feels. We take it out, we put it back in the drawer.
Yeah.
Like we're just setting our future
There's
self
kind
up
of a
for.
rule here. Like if you do it 3 times, like make a change. Just like,
Oh
I
yeah.
keep wanting to hang my coat
Oh
here.
yeah.
It's like, okay, well then get a coat rack.
Right.
Like, so it's
Yeah.
6th time when you go, I wish I could hang my coat here. If you keep saying it, do it, right? Similar
Absolutely.
philosophy.
Very similar.
Pen doesn't work, throw it out.
Throw it
Or if you're
away.
always looking for a pen in that room, put pens in that room.
Exactly.
'Cause
Yeah.
so is that like almost like the house is telling you this is your place to maybe create or write or journal, get your thoughts out? Is
Mhm.
that a way a house speaks to you, would you say?
It can.
Yeah.
It can. I think the biggest things usually are relationships, finances, and opportunities. It's
Yeah.
like the core.
How do you feel about the philosophy again? This was in the episode with Jared. There's some crossover about rooms having purpose.
Mhm.
Work in the office, rest in the family
Oh
room in the
yeah.
family in the family room, dining in
Yes.
the dining room,
Yes.
and the bedroom. We all
Sleep
know
and
2
sex.
things.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, that's like I'm big on that. Started with sleep for
Mhm.
me, that I didn't want to have important conversations right before bed,
Yeah.
which is I think a lot of couples do because especially those with kids and just without kids, busy lives, you finally settle in and it's when it's time for bed and it's just you and your partner and you have a lot to talk about. You got to separate, I feel, that conversation and have
Mhm.
it, but have a space for that.
I agree. Too many times I see people asking rooms to do too many things. So I'll be like in a primary bedroom and there'll be a small desk in the corner. There'll be an elliptical.
Wow.
There's
Yeah.
books on the nightstand. And it's like, okay, so this is a bedroom, this is a library, this is an office, and it's a gym. That's way too much.
Hmm.
I
There's
mean,
probably not a lot of sex or sleep happening here.
right, right.
Yeah.
I mean, and just like think of like the burden that you're putting on the room, and it's like
Mm. Hmm.
someone's carrying that in the home.
Hmm.
Someone's having to wear way too many hats or responsibilities being put on them.
Yeah.
So,
So for my real estate agents out there who do a little DIY staging, think about that, how that
oh
room
yeah,
shows to
yeah,
a buyer
yeah,
and in pictures, etc., and how it feels on a tour.
oh yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, we all as agents, we have to do a little bit of that. Obviously, Kate, that's what you do. Somebody, if you have a listing out there that's stuck, consider these tales. Consider reaching out to Kate because the house will talk to you about what it needs. And this is a time you can't just cut prices on all your listings. I always say it's 3 things to sell a house: people, price, and presentation.
Yeah.
And the people and the presentation are very complicated. The price is kind of the easy one.
Right.
That's black and white. But
Yeah.
you got to look through how am I presenting this home and how am I presenting each room carefully. So what about those who live in, let's say, it's a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, or just a small house, and they work from home and they have kids? How do we define spaces within smaller walls?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's. I
That's the
mean that's
challenge.
that's a challenge.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, there's priority there. There's things. What can we move out of the home?
So you're
You know.
saying, for example, if you can go into your office, go into your office, or if you're a remote worker, maybe consider Regis or WeWork or some co-working
Exactly.
space,
Yeah.
because you're not doing yourself any favors.
Correct. And
Yeah.
because it's all situational, like I think where the biggest concern is like I've seen homes where they've given, like, the parents have given the children the primary bedroom. It happens.
Hmm.
So when you see something like that, whoa,
Yeah.
there's a power imbalance here.
Yes.
Or if it's a couple that works from home and, someone has a huge office with a den and then someone's pushed in the corner,
Yeah.
that's where my flags start going off. Like,
Okay.
okay, there's a bigger issue here.
There's a trend, and I think it can be a healthy one. I've seen in being a broker, very happily married couples in separate bedrooms due
Hmm.
to sleep schedules, snoring,
Yeah.
etc. Right?
Yeah.
That's their business. Could that be negative or positive, or it depends?
If it works for them, that's what matters.
Because I almost think what you mentioned, a power struggle with kids in the
Yeah.
bedroom. It's almost like an equal, like we have our separate spaces in a
Yeah.
way. It's the symbolism can be seen as actually very loving and caring,
True.
that they're in a relationship of mutual respect in a way.
Yeah.
I've seen it, and I see why it works for certain people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think it's the intention of why it's being done. Are they both being given the same amount of space? Is one of the parents having to share the room with a child? That would be concerning, if they both had their own space. There was an episode of oh gosh, I think it had a different name back then, but Queer Eye.
Hmm.
And there was an older gentleman that was on the show, and I think it was like the first episode of whatever season it was, and he was trying to attract a relationship. And Jonathan had said something about there only being one like lazy boy chair there. And he's like, if you were to attract someone, where is she even going to sit?
It's a good point.
Okay. And I thought that is feng shui.
Yeah.
That is feng shui. That is what we're talking about, right? We're not trying to pinpoint like everything everyone's doing wrong, but it's just the intention of the space. Just like the intent. What is the intention of separating bedrooms? Is it for us both to have better sleep and a better life? Perfect. There's
Hmm.
no criticism there. But you go to that example of that gentleman only having one chair. What you're telling the universe, you don't even have space for that other person
So
for them
create
to
space.
create space.
Yes. For whatever it is you're doing. So back to that small house example, create space for work,
Yeah.
outside the house.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to hear that right now, but
I
do it.
know.
If you're struggling in your business, genuinely, I think it's, going back to, move your desk and move where you work and create a dedicated space. Try that. But if that's not working for you, go to the office.
Yeah.
Like there's something about getting dressed, brushing your teeth,
I know.
hair, makeup, going to the
Yeah.
office and being like, I'm here to work. That energy.
Oh, it's excellent.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I think even to your point, like something that you said made me think about it. If you do have a small space and you have a dedicated area to the gym, but you're not using it, but you have a business that you work on every day, but you're working from your lap, you're working from the dinette area. That's where it's like we have to shift. Even with animals, sometimes I see animals have more room in the homes than the humans do. That they have a bed here, they have a crate here, that's their couch, that's their chair. Again, no judgment, but we're
Mhm.
looking for like that power and like, is the home, are we setting it up based on how we're actually using it? Or are we giving things space just because aesthetically that's what we're supposed to do? Or I saw that on a celebrity do that, and I want to do that too,
Yeah.
even though it doesn't suit you.
It's very personalized. Quick ask, if you haven't yet, hit follow or subscribe. It helps us grow and bring you even better content. Now, back to the episode. Uh, you've given a lot of good examples in like a real life success story. Perhaps can you share one of your clients some change they had, whether in love or business, when they
Oh
shifted
my
their space?
gosh.
Or
Um, I'm trying to think of some that I could talk about that wouldn't be not.
sh-
Well, let me do this. I'll share a story about when I quit my corporate job.
okay,
Okay, and I had put my notice in, and I was having a baby shower at my home. And at the end of the baby shower, one of the moms was going around and taking all the unused water bottles and feeding the plants around my house. Great, reusing the water.
hmm,
And one of the plants got so heavy in my financial corner that the legs of the base that the plant was sitting on gave out, and the table broke, and of course the plant tumbled over, and it shattered the pot, and the soil went all over the floor. So the next day, my mom was asking, how was the baby shower? Because she knew I'd been planning for this baby shower. I said, oh, it was excellent. Went off without a hitch, except at the end, in my financial corner, this this plant came tumbling down. And my mom said, that had to happen, right? And I thought about it, and I'm like, "Yeah." Because I had just put my notice in at my corporate job. I had just told the universe, "I'm giving up my salary. I'm surrendering." At that point, I had
Those stable legs gave out.
the stable legs gave out, and so I had a choice. Am I going to replace that? Am I, 1, just not gonna replace the plant,
Mhm,
just throw it all away?
mhm.
Am I going to, "Oh, I'm gonna try to glue it back together and hopefully
Yeah.
it" right?
Doesn't
Okay.
sound right.
Yep. Or do I build it back
Yeah.
bigger? I went out, I got a taller table. Not table, but this pedestal type thing, right? I got a taller pedestal, got a bigger plant, and got a bigger pot. And
Nice.
sure enough, right, I was able to create something bigger than I could have ever created
Yeah.
in that corporate world. So I have tons of stories like that where it's a little bit more complicated of addressing the issue, maybe
Mhm,
something having to break in my case,
mhm.
or dismantling it on our own.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just share a general
Yeah.
story of my success
Yeah.
with Brooke and our previous home. And got my first, well, no, actually, I did have a home office prior, but it was my home office and my desk. I mean, to the exact degree, Brooke knew where my back should be
Yes.
for
Perfect.
success. And my desk, it was angled on an angle you would never see in a magazine or in a
Yep.
celebrity's house or whatever. Right.
Right.
And it was just like, okay, that's like a strange thing to do. I don't see that, but yeah, it works. Let's do it. And let's just say I had the most productive years of my life in that office and
Oh,
into the
yeah.
next office. And like that was such a shift that was amazing to witness. And that's just one of the many things we did in the office, color and arrangement of things and the type of books and whatnot. But
Absolutely.
that was so, that's when it clicked for me. I'm like, I can feel, I feel like working, I feel better. And then same for digestion. I've suffered through ulcerative colitis. So that was a big thing for me. And just like the angles I eat, the directions I eat
Mhm.
with my back. And I started off, okay, where's the directions in my own home? And I know my two
Yeah.
chairs in the dining room.
Yeah.
But when we go to restaurants, it's actually more kind of intuitive now. Because I've gotten used to eating in a certain direction that
Yeah.
I kind of know what chair I want to sit on.
Yeah.
There's a thing, a lot of men, especially, are like, "Oh, I got to face the door,"
Right.
right?
Right.
And that's something I was taught, like growing up. And I have military friends; they've got to face the
Yes.
door,
Yeah.
and outside of feng shui. But I'm like, that's cool. That's not exactly my spot. Like maybe it is,
Mhm.
but I don't think I think about my direction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that, I mean, that complicates things. I think, especially as a realtor, right? That you have people looking for certain things like, oh, I have to have a bathtub in the primary bedroom, or we have to have a big backyard. We have to have 3 bedrooms. And then you add, and I need my front door to face west.
Uh huh.
And I need to live on a positive street name.
Yeah. I don't, and no T junctions.
Yes.
I don't love my clients who are really into feng
Yeah, I
shui are
know.
hard.
I was going to say, people, when the realtors have, like, when a client brings me on with their realtor, I can
Yeah.
see
They're
like
like,
the
oh boy, here we go. Commission just went up.
I know, right?
It's true though.
Yeah.
It is, but a lot of work can be done remotely.
Yes.
Directions and things. You can
Correct.
eliminate homes from the internet.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you'll save some time by doing that. So everyone out there, you should know that if you have a feng shui focused client,
Yes.
try to eliminate certain homes from the
Yeah.
internet. T junctions being one. I have a good story. I was showed a younger woman a home. She loved the house. It was at a T junction.
Okay.
I could tell I wasn't feeling the house, but as Brooke reminds me, some people have soul contracts with homes,
Yep.
and just because the rules don't apply doesn't mean it's not their house. So
Correct.
sometimes I got to keep my mouth shut. Plus, I'm not an expert.
Yeah. Right.
I know enough to get me in trouble.
Yeah.
So she likes the house. I'm like, okay, we go through the process of writing an offer, and then she wants her mom to see it. And mom shows up, and they're waiting for me, and mom's arms are crossed outside.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, here's
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
She knows. And then she was just looking at the T junction and just telling me everything I needed to know without speaking. And I go, this ain't gonna happen. This
Yeah.
deal is not happening.
Yeah.
Guess what? Didn't
Didn't
happen.
happen. I know.
We had it under contract, and she's like, I'm walking before inspections. And she told me why. And a crazy part of that story is it turns out that the seller actually was very ill, repeated illness in the
Oh.
house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So coincidence maybe, but
No.
yeah.
I, bought my house about 10 years ago, and my mom at the time was coming with me to see all the houses, and we pulled up and we're getting out of the car, and she's like, we're not even going in. And I was like, what? And she's like, the street name. And it was Rocky Road. And I don't know. I heard in my head, Rocky Road, the
Ice
ice cream.
cream.
And she's like, Rocky Road. And she's like, we're not going in. And we didn't, so, but that street
Yeah.
name too. Oh, that's incredible. Like I lived on a street, Weeping Hollow. I never cried. I've never cried as much in my entire life when I lived on that street. And, you
Got me
know,
thinking
yeah,
about my street
I
names now.
know. Yeah.
So let's pivot kind of into astrology, and how does that and tarot card reading tie into your feng shui practice?
Well, so they can all be done separately,
Okay.
but I do think when you combine them together, it's pretty incredible to, be in someone's home and know what they're creating from an astrology standpoint and say, like, how can we start putting things into the home to prepare you for some of these changes? Because you get to know a lot more about a client with astrology, like what type of changes are you making? Are you moving? Are you pivoting in your work? And then being able to put things in the home that support some of those changes that are happening.
Perfect.
So it does layer together nicely, but 90% of my work is individual
Yeah.
astrology clients, tarot clients, feng shui
Yeah.
clients.
So I'm a client as well.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, you said something about me that was so pivotal.
Mhm.
And I'll remind you because I know you
Yeah.
have a lot of clients. I was deciding, I'm like, I just like, what if I just stopped being so entrepreneurial? I'm constantly doing new things. This podcast is a year old.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing personal coaching now.
Yeah.
And that's what I was calling about. I keep having these desires to build businesses.
Yeah.
I may do a food truck one day. That's in
Right.
the back burner. I've got like unrelated businesses.
Yeah.
And I said, but part of me just goes, dude, stop.
Mhm.
You're just take a break.
Yeah.
And you were like, that's not happening.
I know.
You said you told me my chart, you are who you are,
You
which
are.
is that person who creates and is an entrepreneur. And it would be like removing oxygen
Mhm.
from me. I just couldn't survive.
Yeah.
And I went, okay, that I didn't know there were people like that thought you could consciously choose to stop perhaps something that drives you. And you told me straight up, nope.
No. And many times that, so some people get stuck in that astrology is just predictive or astrology is just to get to know yourself. I think it gives a lot of validation. And I do get a lot of people that come to me and say, I'm like this. How do I change? And I'm looking at the chart saying, you're supposed to be like
Yeah.
that. That's your superpower. We don't want to get rid of it. So I do understand that sometimes it's not all positive.
Yeah. But how can we leverage that personality trait, perhaps,
Hmm.
is another way to spin this. So instead of changing, what are the positives of it?
Correct.
Okay.
Or talk about the highest octave of
Mm.
it. You look at two charts and you say, is this a police officer or is this a criminal? There's very similar things in the chart,
Okay.
right? That they both maybe know how to work with weaponry. They both are aware of how the laws can be broken, what the laws are. And maybe that's a bad example, right?
No,
Because
I'm
that's a little
following.
politicized
No,
right now,
it's a good
but
example.
and you say like, well, maybe this person's living on the highest octave and this person is living on the lowest octave. So we can talk about the energies in the chart and say like, maybe we can tweak it a little bit
Yeah.
to where it's more fulfilling, or maybe you feel like I'm living out in a positive way, something that's not creating anxiety or something that you're beating yourself up about. So astrology can be like therapy,
Yeah.
and many times I say finding an astrologer is like finding a therapist. Sometimes you have to cycle through a couple to find someone that speaks your language,
Hmm.
someone that you understand the way that they explain things. Some people like something a little bit more whimsical,
Yeah.
and other people like, no, concrete. When am I moving? Or more business focused
Hmm.
rather than just feelings.
Yeah, so it's more of a personality type. Like in my example, I admit I have an addictive personality
Mhm.
handed down generations, and
Yeah,
it's like a channeling. I feel like that into business is a productive way to channel perhaps a negative trait
exactly.
of addiction. Like I chase that like new thing that
Mhm.
to create instead of perhaps drugs or alcohol
Right.
or other addictions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I think that's why I have such an entrepreneurial driven personality. It's more of a channeling of an addictive personality, you
Hey,
know.
yeah, but you can
Therapy
recognize
session
that.
here, but in
Yeah.
front of the whole world. But yeah, I mean, I'm very open about that. Like I think about that. That's the positive thing I'm doing with who I am.
Mhm. Uh, Absolutely.
So if
I
you're
mean,
a criminal, maybe get into law enforcement. But
right.
yeah, like if you have, let's just say you're young and you have some bad thoughts,
Hmm.
think about the source of it, what you're trying to do, and is there a positive way you can channel that energy?
Exactly.
Hmm. I
Exactly.
mean, this is so important. Like when I mention astrology to people, I've told a few people you're coming on the show, and I think definitely you hear this all the time. People just don't believe in it,
No,
right?
right.
So, I mean, for those listening, just believe in what we're saying and give it a shot, first of all,
Hmm.
before you knock it.
Yeah.
But it's like therapy in a way. It's like
Exactly.
it's identifying personality traits. It's giving you crumbs to follow.
Hmm.
It's not predicting the future per
No.
se. It's more like be aware of the following these things.
Yeah.
How do you explain it to the skeptics out there?
Yeah. Well, I believe in free will. Um, and to me, it's just a tool.
Mm,
Why wouldn't the universe give us tools and guides and maps as to how to live this life?
mm,
They say like life doesn't come, like, oh, a baby doesn't come with a manual, what
mhm,
they are, like a handbook. Well, what if like the stars and the planets are some sort of handbook? We look back at history to tell like what's going to happen in the future. We look back at history to put things together when we're dinosaurs alive. And what if we're just looking at the planets? And especially people that are very religious focused, because many times I feel like that's where I met with the most resistance is people that were raised with like a heavy religious influence, which I was in Catholic school for 8 years. I was raised in that environment. It's like, if we believe that God created everything, I'm simply using the tools that God created and pulling meaning from them.
mm. Yeah.
And I think in astrology, particularly, like that's why I love taking clients back. Like if someone's under a Saturn energy, I might ask, okay, what happened in 2018? What happened in 2012? What happened? Right. And I'll take you back through the cycle. You tell me.
Because now
Were
we're
those
looking backwards at facts,
right?
not
No
what.
one can, you didn't know me when those things were happening. I can't take away your experience of how you lived with it. And I'll say, this is what it should feel like. And then, like, oh my gosh, that was the year that I moved. Oh my gosh, that was the year that I got divorced, right? You're putting it together. So why wouldn't we use that as a tool to prepare ourselves
Mhm,
that we're going to be going through this again?
mhm. Wow. I can't wait to listen to my reading again.
Right.
I mean, do you think so? Timing, astrologically speaking, it matters when people are making big moves in business, like
Yes.
hiring, firing, starting a company.
Yes. Just like we all have a birth date and time, businesses have a birth chart. And like I loved this, but I teach with the library here in Las Vegas, and every summer I'll do a program. And it's a way to give back to the community and a way to teach about astrology and tarot and feng shui. And I did a series on the hotels in Las Vegas
Hmm,
and their astrology signs. Okay.
cool.
Again, so you're not a believer, right? Or not you, but like someone's not a
Yeah, I want to
believer.
see that.
Okay. So the Treasure Island, also known as the TI, is a Scorpio. I'm not saying,
Meaning
okay, the Treasure Island was opened, I believe, October 30th or October 31st. I don't have my notes in front of me, so right? I'm kind of doing this, just my memory
off
right now.
memory. Sure.
So I'm not saying like, oh, it has Scorpio like qualities. No. When the Treasure Island opened here in Las Vegas, it was born under a Scorpio sun.
Okay.
Scorpio is known for the darkness and the mystery, the ability to transform. It's regenerative, Scorpio. Okay. Out of all the properties on the strip, the Treasure Island is known for like the pirates, the sirens, right? Kind of the sexy dancers that they have outside, the whole treasure uh, map and clue, the mystery,
Hmm.
very Scorpio. And Treasure Island is one of the only hotels in Las Vegas that has been able to go through a rebranding and stick with it. Right? It was Treasure Island, and they rebranded to TI. I personally thought growing up, oh, that's not going to last long, right?
Yeah.
No, I think Treasure Island opened in like 93, maybe I'm
Yeah.
thinking, right? Here we are in 2025. It's still standing as the TI.
It's rare in Las
Yeah,
Vegas.
we saw the Sahara go to the SLS and then
Back to the
went back to the
Sahara.
Sahara. So, okay, so there we go. So there's Treasure Island. Right across the street, we
Yeah.
have the Wynn.
Yeah. Which is known for, I believe, was built with feng shui masters assisting.
Yeah,
Am I wrong?
I believe so. So we're still on that same corner here in Las Vegas,
Okay.
right on Las Vegas Boulevard. The Wynn is a Taurus, ruled by Venus. It's like you can't make that up. These are when the hotels opened, and they might have been consulting an astrologer when picking the date as to when to open. But the Taurus, ruled by Venus, is about luxury and refinement. Like you think of like cozy robes, very luxurious
Hmm.
gardens when you think of Taurus. So you can look at all the hotels and it's incredible.
How
You
they
know,
align with their signs.
yeah, even the Mirage, when it opened in '88, opened under Sagittarius season. And it was like, they said there were too many people in the hotel when it opened. My parents were there when it opened, that
Yeah.
it pulled people from all around the world. Sagittarius, right? Like the idea of like, yeah, people from everywhere travel to come to see the Mirage. And it has a very heavy Chiron in the chart. We know that the Mirage is no longer, but Chiron rules the idea of the animals. And they were known for the dolphins, and they
Yeah.
were known for Seaford and Roy being there with the
I mean, that's
animals.
also a Steve Wynn property.
Yeah,
So I believe Steve Wynn is a firm believer in feng shui, and that's not a coincidence, either of those
correct.
properties.
Yeah. So, going back to your point, so I know I went off a huge tangent there, but
Yes.
the idea of like our businesses, like when did you launch the podcast? Like when did you open a business? Your business as well, our businesses will all go through Saturn returns. They'll go through, Pluto conjunct your sun. They'll go through these things just like we do as people.
Yeah, that's great to know.
Yeah.
And my next reading will be for businesses.
Oh,
I got to pull
wonderful.
those up. I love that
Yeah.
idea. It's super helpful. Another great real world example was with Brooke. You uh, predicted, let's say, that she would be learning a new language,
Okay. Yeah.
which immediately people go, "Oh, we're going to Japan. Maybe we'll learn
Yeah.
Japanese." And we've always
Exactly.
wanted to learn Spanish, and and
Yeah.
then you're like, "Not necessarily that."
Yeah.
So long story short, Brooke, right around when you said she'd be learning a new language, stepped into a new role with the brokerage, doing basically some compliance and accounting. And to hear her speak now about
Yeah.
the disclosures and all the acronyms we use, it's
Yeah.
like there it is, like
Yeah.
those words you never said a year ago,
Yeah.
and it's really just a whole new lingo
Exactly.
that
No,
she picked up.
and that's this where the self awareness comes in, because someone might say, "I didn't learn how to speak Spanish. What was she talking about?"
Yeah, she was wrong.
She
Yeah.
was wrong, right?
But yeah, now you're coding websites or something that
Yeah.
you weren't doing a year ago, and that's a language
Yeah.
or industry
Ma-
jargon.
Jargon. Many times I say people will stop you when you're explaining something and say, "Wait, what does that mean?" Because yes, it's common to you. Even when I
Hmm.
talk astrology, I'll rattle off things,
Yeah,
forgetting, oh, that's not common
yeah.
language that people are used to.
You're like Sagittarius. I'm like, I don't know what
Yeah, I
that
know.
means.
You're like, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
thanks for explaining
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I have to tell agents, like, stop saying comps.
Hmm.
Like, you say it all the time, but not everyone knows what that means, and it
Exactly.
kind of demeans what you're doing.
Yeah,
It's a comparative market analysis, right? Like, say it,
yeah,
it sounds more professional, but also people don't know the words and the
exactly.
acronyms that we say to each other,
Right,
right?
right. Oh, I love that.
Anyhow, so dates obviously play a bigger role than I thought. Where we're born as well, right? Place
Correct.
matters.
Yep. So the longitude and latitude, which can usually be, when people say the city that they're born in, the exact time of birth, and then the date and the year. And that time, the birth chart changes every 4 minutes. So if
Okay.
someone gives me like, "Oh, I was born at 10 a.m." I always question them. Was
Yes.
it 10 a.m. or was it 10:07
Yes.
a.m.? And sometimes we don't know. Sometimes, some hospitals, even up until I think the 70s and 80s in Pennsylvania, weren't tracking the times. So I understand that not everyone will have the time.
Hmm.
If you don't have the time, that's okay. Just let me know.
Yeah.
So I
Don't make it
know.
up.
Yeah, don't
Don't
make it up.
guess.
That way, too, I know what I can look at and what would not change
I see.
based on that time.
Yeah. And you can call your hospital at that point. I'll tell you my experience.
Oh,
They
yeah.
kicked it to a different office because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
But it was
Okay.
funny. It was in New York, and the woman's like, I can't give you that information unless you're here. And I was like, oh, really? And she's like, last name again? I was like, gave it to the last name, and she was like, 5:48 p.m.
Okay.
I was like,
Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, call, ask, be polite to the people who keep the records,
Yes.
and you can find out your time.
Yeah.
Hopefully, nine
Yeah.
times out of 10.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So if someone listening today is feeling overwhelmed by all the signs and the dates and the energies and the red doors, etc.,
Yeah.
they want to get started. What's the first step to align their space?
To align their space. Well, one, I think just
Let's say
look.
align it with their goals.
Yeah. Well, I think one, I would go around and just take a more discriminative eye, looking at your space and saying, what is my space saying? Look at it like a vision board. What are you honoring in the home? And have you been creating more of it?
Yep.
So we give that example of someone trying to create a relationship and they have a self-portrait in the home. Okay, it's happened,
One chair and a
one
self portrait.
chair, or they have a picture of a woman that was crying that they got when they went through
Yeah.
their breakup 10 years ago,
Yeah.
wondering why they were still recreating
Yeah.
this storyline. So take a look at the home and say, what is the home saying?
Yeah.
And start
Perfect.
with removing some things that you feel like no longer align.
Removing is better than addition.
To start,
Hmm.
because I know a lot of people want me to come in and just say, well, just tell me what statue to put there or tell me what cure I can do. Okay, I can, but to me, that doesn't feel like it's a band-aid. I want you to have long-term success.
Hmm.
I'm just not going to tell you to go buy a bunch of things. Like, let's really assess the home, what it's saying, and let's start with removing. Adding more, I think Jared talked about this as well, like the idea of minimalistic, taking things out of the home. We could all do it.
Yeah.
We could all do it.
Yeah.
I think I like to think of like if you sat in the room and you had a string going from your heart to every single item in that room, every single pen, every single piece of crystal, every single cup. How many strings would there be, holding you
Mhm.
into place? So we can always remove.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
love the quote: "A design is finished not when nothing more can be added, but when nothing more can be taken away."
yes, yeah,
And I
huge.
see you looking around my office, and I'm
No,
getting
I'm not.
nervous.
I'm not. I
What is it all?
promise.
No, but I
I
feel
promise.
feeling confident. Feeling
Yeah,
confident. I'm like,
yeah.
I need to read that book. It's been sitting there. It's bothering me.
Okay.
What is that saying about me? Any so like red flags immediately? Obviously, we talked about self portraits, one
Hmm.
chair, woman crying.
Yeah.
Any other immediate red flags? Like just somebody could, as a basic, as a real estate agent who needs
Hmm.
to be a what is it, master of all jack of all trades,
Yeah.
master of none. Any
Yeah.
other red flags we can look out for when we're going on a listing appointment?
You can't see the front door.
Can't see the front door. So
Mhm.
like doors on the side of a house.
Yeah,
Sorry if you have
I
one. Not
know.
good.
No,
Okay.
no.
Remedies.
See, you just want that fix. No,
Yeah.
no.
What statue
Yeah,
do
I
I
know. What
put?
statue did I put there?
Um,
You know what? The thing is it does work for some people. If someone is always in the like, what do they say? Like the limelight, right? They're saying that they need a little bit more um, privacy, right? They're not trying to be the face of attention. I said, oh, if you have money coming in and you don't need more opportunities, by all means, move into a home with the door on the side of the home.
okay.
By all means,
But it's not
some
good for
people need
money.
that. If you're trying to do a startup business and you're buying a home with the door on the side of the house,
So the symbol in my head is like, well, I can't, the customers can't find you in
yeah.
a way, right?
Oh
They
yeah.
can't find the front door. So I'm just going to go to the next place.
Oh my
That's kind of the
gosh.
symbolism there.
Yes. Think of if you go to a restaurant and you're pulling on the door and it's locked, and then you see the sign that says, please use other door, and now you're so embarrassed.
Yeah.
So you walk in the front door and you're already annoyed.
Yep.
That's what it's
Or
like.
even do I know if they're open because it's so tinted or shaded?
Oh,
And are
yeah.
they open?
Yeah. So
You immediately
businesses
want to
and
go
homes.
somewhere else.
I had a client like that where, I'm going to homes all over in Las Vegas, and I pull up and I cannot see the front door. And so I go to what I think is the front door, and it's the gate, which again, you're approaching someone's house. I hope this is the house, like I look like
Yeah.
I'm getting in, and so anyways, I said, I'm so sorry. I believe I'm outside your home, but I cannot find the front door. And so she comes around the side. Oh, here, hi, I'm over here. And I said, okay, before I even come into the house, may I ask, have you had to do everything twice in this home? And she's like, dumbfounded. How did you know that? From her business to much more personal stories as well. Like, it was this idea of like, yeah, just like I did. And I say take seriously what I'm saying are people coming to your home because they're seeing your home for the first time with new eyes. We get so adjusted to what is going on in our home and our neighborhood when we live there because we see it every day.
Mm.
But so, right, I had gone to the side of the house thinking this was the front door. Oh, wrong. I had to redo. And I knew
Mm.
this is going to be a bigger theme of this home. So, like, before we even come into your home, we're probably
Yep.
going to spend 20 minutes
Yep.
on what we can do in the front yard to direct this energy to the front door.
Hmm. Yeah, that's so great. And just like as a real estate agent, you're out there. You said you're going to the house for the first time. So you're going on a
Yeah.
listing appointment. Somebody who lives there, they don't see something that you see
Hmm.
from the front door, let's just say from the curb. It's your job to tell them.
Yeah.
You get a, I mean, we're not feng shui masters, but when you're being hired to be that third party without a horse in the race. Well, your horse in the race is to sell the house. You're actually
Mhm.
doing them a favor. Know that they're hiring you to be honest with them,
Yeah.
not to go, oh, everything's great. What a great
Right.
house. Sign here.
Yeah.
Say, before we get started, I have to point out
Yeah.
that the front door is difficult to find and we need to
Mhm.
remedy that.
Yeah.
Like that's your job as a real estate professional.
Yeah.
And I find one example recently is I think that says like don't come in, and that resistance energy was like so many cameras and cords to
Oh,
cameras too.
yes. Oh gosh, yeah.
One thing, if it's neat and
Mhm.
kind of tucked away, I feel your security, that's fine. And I'm never going to make you take that down. But you got ring doorbell, ring camera, cords here. It's just like, you're telling people don't buy my house.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
come in.
Yeah, and, like, the gates, and then the no soliciting, and then the doormat that says, like, "If you're not the Amazon man, like, screw off." And I get
Yeah.
it. I get it. They're cute. They're all over
I
Etsy,
don't
but
like that.
you're telling people to stay
Yeah.
away. Even something a little bit maybe not as obvious is the doorbell not working.
Yeah.
I've been at home just ringing the doorbell and again texting them. I think I'm at your home. Oh, so sorry, the doorbell doesn't
Yes.
work. Just knock. And I always give the example of who was that guy that came to the doors with the checks, like
Yeah. Ed McMahon.
the sweep or whatever it was.
Yeah.
What if I had a check? You would have missed it. I didn't have your phone number to text you.
Yeah.
It's a silly example, but it's that
Well,
idea of
we need to fix our doorbell.
oh,
Full
do you?
disclosure.
Okay.
So we get it on the phone, this ring, but the
Okay.
actual doorbell, it's not working very
Yeah.
well. And it's
Yeah.
funny. I'm like, and we have a big gate in the front,
Yeah.
and I know that's like a don't enter energy, but it's funny. It's offset. There's certain things that we try to offset with plants and flow and
Yes.
welcoming, and it's big, but it's open,
Correct.
and we're very aware of like if you have a big gate or like let's just say you rent a house and you can't make these changes, offset it with
Yeah.
things. Don't have the big gate and the screw off and the no
Right.
soliciting doormat and all that stuff.
Yes.
Like you can make it feel more welcoming.
Correct.
Those little accessories really do matter.
Oh yeah. They
Yeah.
do. Yeah. Does the home look alive? Does it look like someone lives here?
Yeah, it's important. It's important practice. I'm really glad. I feel like not only for us as agents, like you're giving us tips for our own business. I think we can apply.
Mhm.
And there's always that next level. Like if you've got a stale listing, reach out to a professional like Kate
Yeah.
can make it unstuck.
Yes.
Perhaps.
Yeah. I've worked with a lot of realtors going to homes that have sat on the market to walk through and kind of start addressing. And at that point, many times we're not looking at the home might be vacant. We might not even be staged. And we're talking about maybe what clients that do have a little bit of feng shui knowledge behind them, what they might be seeing and how we can set up cures,
Yeah.
or make some changes around the floor plan to get that energy going.
Yeah. And what about land? Do you do anything like land clearing or land? Does land matter as much as the house? Are there certain places that are,
Yeah.
yeah, that comes into account?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's really impossible to change, right?
It's impossible to change. Yeah, I worked with a home in Lake Las Vegas, and there was a kind of a mountain right in front of the home, and I was very concerned about it. But the other thing is they just bought a home. They're excited, spent a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're having me come in after the fact, and
To
I
move
don't.
mountains.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to be like, you made a horrible decision,
Mm.
because that's not the point. I understand you bought this house, you're excited, you were called
Soul
to this.
contract, right?
Yes.
Something called you here.
Yeah, but it's been interesting to, because you see then the transformations that they go through. It's like, that had to happen based on the landscape that we can't change. Yeah.
So then what do we do?
But
Maybe it's a chapter, right?
that's exactly.
Yeah, they're supposed to go through.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How about in your personal life? What rituals do you practice to keep yourself grounded and keep your business flowing?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, you'll see me do kind of silly things around the home. My partner does it as well. Like in the home, the refrigerator is the feminine and the stove would be the masculine. So if I'm not feeling well or having a hard day, like my partner will go and like intentionally clean the fridge to like give me like an oomph, or
Hmm.
if I know he's had a hard day, like really intentionally cleaning the stove or
Really?
setting those intentions in the home, constantly writing intentions and putting them under floor mats or putting them in areas of the home, and just always moving things
I love
around just
that.
to keep that energy new and fresh.
Yeah, so writing intentions and then the floor mat, is that due to the specific room? And you mentioned like there's different areas of the house that represent different things.
Yes.
So those intentions, you don't have to share a personal
Yeah,
one,
no,
but
of
give us
course.
an example.
Yeah, so like an intention under the front door because that's the area of opportunity. Of an opportunity flowed to me with ease.
Yeah,
Writing it in a red envelope, putting it under the doormat, refreshing the doormat, and just to create more opportunities that are coming into the home.
cool. I mean, so you're a multi-generational
Mm-hmm.
astrologer,
Yeah.
feng shui practitioner,
Yeah.
with a diverse background. So
Yeah.
this is who you are. This is your life.
Correct.
And that sounds like it's your purpose, right?
Yes.
To be here and help people find their purpose.
Yeah.
I love it, and I hope everyone got something out of this. And definitely
Yeah.
drop comments if you have
Thank you.
questions for Kate. And if it's all right with you, I'm going to slide into Quickfire Wisdom.
Okay.
This is
Let me see
the
if I'm ready.
same 5 questions we ask all of our guests.
Okay.
Try to keep it to a concise answer.
Okay.
What's the one habit you developed that's made the biggest difference in your day-to-day life?
Oh my gosh. Besides mindset, making the bed.
Making the
I
bed.
know it's very simple. You've everyone's heard it before, but it's pretty incredible.
Because it's true.
It's true.
Yep. It's been hard with the puppy, but
Yeah.
we still do our best.
Yes.
I did it at, later this morning, but
Yeah.
still got it done.
Hey.
I believe in that one too. I
Yeah.
second that. Do you have a favorite quote or mantra that you live by?
Oh, embrace change.
I love that. You
Yeah.
mentioned the change earlier, and I wanted to dive deeper on that. Yeah, I always say change is the only constant.
Yeah.
And we talked about that feeling of being stuck or that
Mm-hmm.
not following intuition, just stop resisting it. Like stop
Yeah.
resisting change.
Yeah.
Greater things are on the other side of it when you just go through the pain to get there.
Yeah. Just a redirection.
Embrace change.
Yeah.
Which book has played a significant role in contributing to your personal growth?
Oh gosh, I have 2, but
That's fine.
Who Moved My Cheese? This is a
Classic.
good one. And then the book The Outsiders.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's probably more on a personal level, but
Yeah.
just like the relatability of, coming from different backgrounds and seeing the best in people. And just because this is your way of doing things, or this is the way that you were raised. I read it when I was in Catholic school, being raised by very progressive parents. And I related to the idea of being the outsider and like, is this, are these my people?
Yeah.
And uh, I think too, like it played into my degree in psychology. And what I love about astrology is like praising people for their differences.
Yeah.
And like you, not trying to shun that and put you into a box. No, you have to be like everyone else. No, embrace it. This is what makes you different. So,
great. And Who Moved My Cheese is really all about change too.
It
Isn't
is.
It? Yeah.
It is. Yes.
Good books.
Yes.
What's your favorite app or tool for productivity?
Oh gosh, I am a note taker. I love making lists for myself.
Handwritten.
I love the idea of checking it off. It makes me feel like so accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's an energy to that. I
There
would
is.
argue.
Yeah.
I think a lot of inspiring thoughts can come from pen and paper versus typing.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like there's accountability. It just like, I feel like once I put it on paper, it's happening.
Yeah.
Like
What
there's
do you
no
put
question.
in your reminders app?
I know.
Just another app on your phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You're bringing it into existence by writing it down.
Yeah.
Love it. And lastly, what's your go-to way to unwind after a long day?
Oh gosh, I'm like besides mindlessly scrolling TikTok.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. I think it goes with that intention, but like I do a lot of gig work where I read for people for 2 or 3 hours at a time, like in a party setting. So like people hire me for like their convention or a wedding or a conference, and so I'll be reading
tarot cards,
or even just quick astrology readings without the chart, just based on the sun sign. And so I'm also a Pisces rising. So like the use of water, like I'd love to come home and like just intentionally shower, even if I've taken a shower earlier that morning, but that idea of like kind of rinsing, the ritual of rinsing off the energy
of the day.
Yeah. It's really rejuvenating.
I love that. There was, James Von Prague? He's an author, psychic medium, I believe is his talent, but he talks about showers / visualizations and thinks about just cleansing, like literally in your mind's eye, like black tar off of you. That's an energy from the day.
Yeah.
A lot of people, myself included, are empathic and you just pick up stuff you don't realize all day. And you remind me of that. And it is with that visual. But even if you don't visualize, just having that cleansing moment at the end of the day, it's something I'm going to perhaps try if I'm
Yeah.
feeling anxious for the day. Because a lot of agents, like if you're like me, I mean, you're out there talking to a lot of people on the
Mhm.
phone, in person, text messages, tons of energy,
Yes.
not always the best energy, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
So that end of day shower sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, I've left home before where I feel like physically sick once I get into the car because you take on
I bet you
different
do.
energy, and sometimes if it's that intense, then even just like I'll roll. And we're in Las Vegas, but I'll go home and have the windows rolled down, just like the idea, like I don't want to get that energy to get stuck in the car.
Let it flow.
It just like let it flow off of me. Like I don't. Yeah, it's
I
kind
like
of a
that
weird
idea.
thing.
Yeah, it's like
But
if you had a bad showing or a bad listing appointment, roll the
yeah,
windows down,
yeah,
turn
or
up the
just
music.
it's the same thing as like what they say, like, oh, open the windows in your home,
Yes.
let the energy flow through.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
I do that here,
yeah,
even if it's summer sometimes, because I'm
exactly.
like, the windows have just been closed for too long.
You have to. So I do
Yeah.
the same thing in the car.
Great.
Yeah,
Well, I appreciate all the tips and
wonderful.
advice. Thanks for
Yeah,
coming on the show.
absolutely. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Kate. Wherever you are right now, I invite you to pause. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose and exhale fully through your mouth. And let out anything heavy you've been carrying around with you today. Now, picture the space around you, your office, your car, your home. Imagine it as a reflection of your inner world. What is it saying back to you? Does it feel open and supportive, or cluttered and distracting? With your next breath in, silently set an intention. I choose to create space for flow, for clarity, and abundance. And as you breathe out, imagine releasing one thing, a thought, an item, or a pattern that no longer serves you. Carry this awareness into your day. Remember, just as Kate reminded us, even the smallest shift, moving an object, clearing a surface, or opening a window, can create momentum for change. Thanks for joining me on this journey today. I'm Michael Coxen, and this is The Mindful Agent. Join me next time as we continue to explore the intersection of real estate, health, and mindfulness. Looking to grow your real estate career? At Magenta Real Estate, we put you first. Our entire business is built around your well-being and your success. With 100% commission, powerful marketing tools, and a supportive community that truly cares. Success starts within. Visit joinmagenta.realestate today.